would like to highlight 3 reasons why organizations should pursue the low carbon net zero strategy now. First, the magnitude and the challenge of climate change is much more significant than the global pandemic we've just been through. Second, there's also time element. There's urgency in tackling the climate change. And third, our continued reliance on fossil fuel, particularly oil or gas, has made our economy more exposed.
We have to find ways to bridge this gap between knowing that this is the right thing to do and it being also financially beneficial. So what's better for the planet will eventually also be better for the bottom line. These things take time, and the longer that the starting point is delayed, the higher the cost of inaction is likely to be.
You know, there's lots of investors coming out and saying this is important to them, but they're not necessarily putting their money where their mouth is. And I'm really interested in that question around whether it is possible really within the current financial markets we have for organisations that aren't either privately owned or aren't owned in different ways to be able to really truly do this in an actually authentic way that involves changing the mission of their businesses. The challenge is much more about how do I tackle this? What do I do first?
There is a completely different way of doing it, and that's one that puts responsibility, fairness and democracy built into the organizational structure. And how do you do that? It's via the cooperative model. So these are mutually supportive local organizations addressing issues of concern to the people in those communities.
Dialogue is a two-way street. It means you have to consider the views and also act on them. And what I love about the co-op kind of functionality is that it starts with the point of view that actually if you start with a democratic approach, the engagement and the involvement of everybody around it has more positive outcomes.
Meeting your own organization's carbon target itself does not necessarily lead to the sector, the industry, the national target. Therefore, when we try to reduce the carbon, it is important to decarbonize the whole supply chain.
The ability to open up more in terms of sharing data across the supply chain, I think will just be transformational in terms of the efficiencies that can unlock. But the challenge is in fusing it together into an efficient supply chain that can operate at scale.
The starting point is always to knowing where you are in terms of your carbon emission performance and your supply chain. So organizations have built a baseline, and then you can set ambitious or deliverable reduction target. Business cannot do it alone. Consumer can't do it alone. We do need to have everybody on board, including government.
There's no legislative support or guidance for that. So I think, government intervention isn't necessarily more red tape and more bureaucracy, but it's key to just get some safeguards and some guidance.
There is almost no standardization about how organizations report their impact, and I think that is a real issue in this area. All this kind of stuff, what guidance to follow and what not to follow, if you have a clear sense of as an organization what your purpose and your mission are, then making those decisions becomes a lot easier.
There is an underlying evidence that cooperative model does thrive even in difficult times. The democracy, the membership and the solidarity that they learned while being active cooperative members gave them a really unique skill set. They could actually come to decisions on the day and implement them on the day, rather than hanging around waiting for permission to do something or other.
If we can tie profit with purpose, be that social or environmental purpose, then I think that really holds the key to many of our challenges.
Do our customers or our clients care about this? Does talking about our environmental impact with our customers and our clients improve our relationship with them, improve our dialogue? Do our employees care about it? Those kind of quite simple questions, which actually lots of organizations may just not have considered before, and starting to unpack where the advantages are and where the advantages to doing this will be, I think is a really kind of good starting point.